Bro, you're telling me right now it's a fucking doctor stoppage.
Yo, what? UFC, what are you, bro?
A doctor stoppage for the baddest motherfucker title? This is supposed to be a fight to the death, and you just doctor stop this fight.
You see he's getting death threats now?
Yeah, bro. So anyway, we'll get into that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the No Cap Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined with my co-host, Zack.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all?
And man, we are heated about this past UFC 240.
What'd I say? Disappointing.
Yeah, man.
I knew this was going to be disappointing.
So, you know, when we came on last week, we were talking about how excited we were for these undercard fights, you know, the prelims, early prelims, and the main card was stacked. We thought it was stacked. And then we watched it, and man.
I mean, it was stacked. To be fair, it was stacked.
No, it was stacked. It was stacked for sure. But man, a little disappointing in some things.
Very underwhelming. Extremely underwhelming.
So let's go back. So you have the prelims pulled up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the two fights you wanted to talk about there.
So early prelims, we basically did really well on early prelims.
Yeah.
What's interesting, Hakeem won.
Of course.
Yeah, he won a decision.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Lyman Good won. Third round TKO. Awesome.
Good.
Caitlin Chukagan.
Yeah, I saw some comments about how we say names on on this. Listen, we're trying, and I'm going to warn you right now. In a little bit, I'm going to be trying to pronounce a ton of Russian names
and butchering them,
and I'm going to absolutely butcher them. So I apologize in advance for that. So anyway, back to
Caitlin actually bumped up in the rankings like a lot because she's now the number one flyweight.
Wow. Behind
Valentina.
Yeah, so I mean that title shot coming soon?
Maybe.
I mean, when you fly up like that.
I mean, yeah, they'll probably hand it to her.
Yep. And then on the prelims, what do we got?
Corey Anderson versus Johnny Walker.
Now, man, Johnny Walker, I mean, he's said a lot after this fight because he took him lightly.
Yeah.
He took him really lightly.
Corey Anderson's very
And you called this.
Yeah. I saw Corey, Corey's a grinder, man. And you watch that fight, he grinded him out. He just was all over. He smothered Johnny.
Corey looked very, very impressive.
Yeah, he called out John Jones right after, too.
Again.
I mean, he gets what he wants. He's going to get what he wants eventually.
A fight against John Jones, he's probably going to get whopped.
I think they're going to do him versus Reyes.
Okay.
And then winner goes against John Jones. I would pay to watch that.
I mean, anything with John Jones, people will call it a money fight. And I think Corey Anderson is good enough to at least be given a chance to go at John Jones. He's earned it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, so keep going on there. So what's next?
Then we jumped over to that featured prelim. Before that, we had Shane Burgos and Aquana Mirkani. And we got this one. I got this one wrong.
Yeah.
Because Burgos ended up knocking him out in the third.
So the craziest thing is these prelim fights, all knockouts.
All four were knockouts.
And then
the only one to leave the first round was that Burgos fight.
Yep. And then you got to the main card, and the first fight we see, Gregor Gillespie and Kevin Lee.
Yeah,
So let's start. So we're gonna take you guys through this. If you didn't see it, how the fight went. So basically, the fight starts, and Gregor looks like you can tell he's smaller. He's definitely the reach is a lot less, 5-inch less reach.
He's just
Kevin Lee looks big comparatively, and he's got the 5-inch reach advantage, and Gregor's a world-class wrestler, and he's gonna try and take this man down.
Kevin really countered that with that low base.
So Kevin came out in a really, really low stance, and anytime the reason he's in the low stance is anytime a takedown attempt should have occurred, he would have just pushed it away.
Yep.
He used that reach that he has all the way to his advantage. He was throwing those jabs.
Gregor couldn't get it. He couldn't blitz. And a big thing when you're fighting with a reach disadvantage, DC's a good example of this.
Yeah.
If you're fighting with a reach disadvantage, you want to be able to blitz.
Yeah.
Which you sort of try to smother them and throw flurries and combinations while pressing in, so you can at least land something while at the same time trying to get a hold of them for a takedown. And that's basically the wrestler sort of blueprint especially when you're at a reach disadvantage. That's the wrestling blueprint.
Now, with Gregor, so I give him credit. He did early on try to close that gap.
No matter what people say, just like with the Israel Adesanya Robert Whittaker fight, that was a close fight too.
So he did well early on, closing the gap. He was getting some jabs in.
He cut Kevin Lee up.
And yeah, Kevin Lee actually was the first one to get cut. The only one to get cut in this fight.
Yeah.
But then Gregor went for one single takedown attempt that he sort of didn't even fully go in for.
It was half-hearted, and he gave up on it because Kevin Lee's base was so low that he could have got caught in a guillotine, honestly, that easily.
Yeah, so a repeat of something earlier in the fight. So Kevin Lee goes for a head kick early. It sort of misses. And then just at the knockout point in this fight, as we've all seen, Gregor sort of gets baited in.
Kevin disguised it so well, because he threw that jab.
Yep. And then that
when
means
Gregor went to blitz, he threw that head kick, and Gregor didn't have his guard up because he was going to blitz, and it caught him flush.
And I mean, from everything that's been said, he was knocked out for several minutes unconscious.
It was a beautiful kick. There's literally, you can't say anything bad about it. I know my prediction on this was wrong. Yours was too.
Yep.
But I want you guys to understand something too real quick. When I do these fighters to watch, by no means am I saying these guys are going to go undefeated for the rest of their career. They're amazing. These are guys who are up-and-comers who are going to, 90% of them are going to lose. 99%.
Not everybody is going to be Khabib.
No. And like I said, he's Khabib-like.
Yep.
He's not Khabib.
But he's not Khabib.
He's not Khabib 1.0.
And we saw with this fight, unfortunately for him, he ate a head kick.
But you know what's good about this? He learned. That's the biggest takeaway from this, is a learning experience. And I guarantee you, next fight, you're going to see him try a couple different stances, techniques, to where he can really counter what happened this fight.
So disappointing for you on this one. Gregor just didn't go for a takedown attempt enough.
I'm
disappointed that he didn't try to. I know the low base was there.
He really wanted to try to outbox Kevin Lee because
incorrect. Not worth it. That's a poor judgment on him. He's a world-class wrestler.
Kevin Lee also is an amazing wrestler.
At some point, you got to play to your strength.
Yeah.
And he just didn't.
But Kevin Lee was doing an amazing job of making sure he doesn't.
For sure. All right, so next fight on the card was Derek Lewis and Blagoy Ivanov. And this fight, guys, this is the first thing I'm going to say right now. The referees and the judges, they need to figure their shit out. Because the judges on this night were horrible.
Garbage. Horrible.
There were too many times where the scores that they gave were not even close to the eye test.
Can you go over the score for this fight real quick?
Yeah, so this one was a split decision that went Lewis's way, where if you watch the fight, some people would say if you're valuing the takedowns, Blagoy Ivanov probably wins this fight 29-28.
Well, I have the stats right here.
I have the stats. So Blagoy was 59-37 in total strikes. He won that.
61 for 83, actually, officially.
Okay.
You probably have the unofficial.
Yeah, I have what they put after the fight.
I have the official strikes.
Okay, so go ahead.
61 for 83 from Blagoy, which is a 73.6% striking rate. That's amazing. Derek Lewis was 32 for 69.
So it did say that Derek Lewis on the broadcast had 37 significant strikes. I don't know if that's the official number.
31 for Lewis.
Okay.
20 for Blagoy.
Yep. And then
that's a pretty big number, but you still got outstriked by more than 30 strikes.
And then takedowns, Blagoy won 3-1.
Yeah, 3 for 6, and then Derek Lewis was 1 for 3.
Yeah. So this fight, the eye test says for me, it said Derek Lewis won. For Zack, I think he said otherwise. He said that he thought Ivanov won this fight.
I definitely see Ivanov. Well, when we rewatched it, we went back and watched the fight. I saw Ivanov winning that fight.
So the scores came in, and they go 30-27 Lewis. And for me, I didn't think Derek Lewis won each round.
Not the first. Definitely not the first round.
So for me, I was already like, all right, this judge is a little off. And then the next judge said 29-28 Ivanov, and I said, okay. That's a judge who's valuing takedowns and total strikes more than probably the eye test of the fight. And then the final judge comes in and it's 29-28 and it's for Lewis. And Lewis wins split decision. I mean, I don't know where 30-27 came from. I could understand 29-28 both ways, but 30-27, that judge needs some help.
You need some glasses too. I think the biggest thing with these judges, they're watching the fight live.
Yeah,
They're watching the fight live, and they're not seeing everything that we see as much.
which they need to.
Because I remember when we were watching, you're like, "Oh no, he had Lewis had him hurt. Lewis had him hurt."
Yeah, no, there was a few times.
You rewatch it though.
Lewis had him rocked at least twice.
Yeah, in the first,
One in the first, and then one in the
but the
second.
first he still lost.
And then I think the craziest thing is the fight back after that. It looked like Derek Lewis, he didn't have the energy to finish, which
never does.
Which is always his problem. And Blagoy in the beginning, he actually almost key locked Derek Lewis early on.
Yeah,
and Derek Lewis quickly got right back up. He was like, "Oh, I'm not having this happen to me." And then the other time he got taken down, it was the same thing. It just didn't seem like either guy could finish the other one. For me, split decision Lewis is fine. I just think that the judging needed help.
I don't agree. I don't agree with it. I had the guy winning, but I don't agree with that decision at all. I think that it would have been a split decision Ivanov. I would have been happy with that too.
Either way. Like, I would have been okay either way.
Literally in every category but significant strikes,
yeah.
he dominated.
It's one of those things where I think the eye test for me sees different things than you because you are a wrestler. And
at heart, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm more of a, if I see this guy getting beaten up more, he's probably winning the fight.
But he was on the ground with him, 3 times and beating him up on the ground.
So, I mean, I'm not mad at the decision. It could have went either way.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
All right. Next fight. This one's fun. This was a fun fight to watch.
That was an awesome fight.
Wonder Boy and Vicente Luque. I mean, I'm going to give Vicente Luque this. This man's chin is one of the greatest chins I've seen on anybody.
I mean, you had Whitaker going 10 rounds with Romero.
I mean, I'm just saying. Did you see some of the strikes that?
Yeah, that was insane.
Wonder Boy broke his hand in this fight.
Luque's got a hard head.
he's got a beyond hard head. His chin is just immaculate. He was eating so many punches. I mean, Luque in the first round.
Do you want to hear the total strikes real quick?
I mean,
you want to talk about eating punches?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wonder Boy threw 138 for 242. He landed 57% of his strikes.
He landed over 100 strikes in this fight. 3 rounds, by the way.
Luque landed 77 for 175.
And again, 3-round fight. So you put that into perspective. He's putting over 40 strikes per round on Luque's chin and his body. And Luque's only given him about 25 back.
Total significant strikes for each one was the amount of punches they threw. Or was the amount of strikes they landed.
Yeah, so
which
all
is
of them
138 and 77. That's crazy.
That's
insane.
The amount of times that it looked like Luque was about to be done. He gets stunned. It looked like Wonder Boy was going to do something.
Even to the very end of the third.
Even at the end, yeah. I mean, I'm going to give that man credit because he was eating so many punches. He was doing what he could. But Wonder Boy was just better. And the weight class, I mean...
At welterweight?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of punches he was eating, there's some power behind Wonder Boy's punches.
Yeah, I mean, they're both true welterweights. Luque's, he's very gritty. He's very strong. He doesn't have a lot of quit in him. And that's good to see. That's amazing to see. Yeah.
But, and if anything, I mean, if Wonder Boy does have a broken hand, we probably won't be seeing him for a while.
But that's good. He came back with a big dub after that loss.
Yeah, he needed it.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yep. I was impressed. It was an impressive showing by Wonder Boy.
Impressive.
And it was an impressive showing by Luque. I'm going to give him that. I mean, I'm sure he got his ass kicked. But again, very impressive. He did what he could. And again, he's a guy who had to close distance early and be aggressive, and it just didn't work out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was a good decision though. They had this decision right.
Yeah, for sure.
They did good on this one, and I mean that it was pretty clear who won that fight.
Yep. All right, so next one, you have that one.
This was my fight of the night, and I had Darren Till versus Kelvin Gastelum, and Darren Till won.
Now
his middleweight debut. He is the first one to move up a weight class and win this year. That's awesome.
Now let's just right out the gate. How timid was Gastelum coming out?
Very
It seemed as if he just did not want to throw.
Well, Gastelum closed the distance very fast.
Yeah,
Extremely fast.
But Darren Till's movement?
Darren Till's footwork is next level.
Who controlled the cage?
Darren Till made Gastelum come to him, which, you know, that
he had to do that.
That's the way you have to fight when you're fighting Calvin Gastelum. Because if you stand there and try to trade, you're done.
Yep.
You're done.
And it's crazy because a little bit came out after the fight. Darren Till was saying he almost faked an injury because he didn't want to fight Gastelum.
You see what he said about Romero too?
Yeah, like
how can you not like this guy though? Literally, he's telling you the truth and being as honest as you can be.
This man was willing to literally be like, "Yo, I'm hurt. I want to fight Gastelum. That's it." Like, this dude's scary.
His foot was a balloon.
Yeah, like, I mean, this stuff is like for Darren Till, because we both like Darren Till. We love Darren Till.
I mean, if you guys follow me on Instagram at Zackn_70, quick little plug, you'll see my stories. A lot of them are about Darren Till because...
Oh, one more plug real quick. Shout out Raider.
Yeah, shout out to my English professor, Jay Raider, for, you know...
We missed out on the last one to sort of let him know.
Yeah, he helped us out with some of our stuff. You know, he's helping out some of the stuff behind the scenes. I really appreciate it. Really awesome, awesome professor.
All right, so Till. So back on Till.
Yeah, but no, Gastelum closed in the distance really fast on him, and Till goes straight for the clinch.
Yep.
Straight for the clinch, which is smart.
Yeah, I was going to say,
fight.
Darren Till fought this very, very smart.
Very conservative.
And especially for his first fight in this weight class, needing to sort of get used to the difference. I mean, it's a big difference. It's a weight change. And he's going against guys that are now...
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. He's going against guys now that are, you know, bigger than...
They're huge.
Yeah, they're bigger than he's used to.
Have you seen Romero?
Yeah. Nope. Okay, listen. Romero's on a different fucking planet.
And he's clean.
He's clean. This man is in his 40s.
Yeah.
And he looks like that. He looks like when Alistair...
Soldier of God.
He looks like Alistair Overeem when he was on steroids.
And that's a heavyweight Alistair Overeem.
Yes, that's
And this guy
is
he's a middoweight. He's 185 and he's ripped.
Yeah.
With a six-pack and everything. That's insane.
So where does Kelvin Gastelum go from here?
So he's down 2 now. Both fights were good fights where he just didn't do enough. Both fights, he was there, but he couldn't finish and he couldn't string it together. I think from here, they can work in probably Brunson, maybe? Him versus Derek Brunson. That'd be interesting.
I like Derek Brunson.
That'd be an interesting fight. Derek Brunson's seen as a gatekeeper for the middleweight division.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like that title. So I could see him doing him against Gastelum.
Okay. I wouldn't be mad at that.
No. I would see Gastelum.
I would definitely like that to be probably the third fight on a card, maybe middle of the card, not co-main.
That's a good That's a good right under co-main. That's a good fight.
All right. Main event of the evening. The BMF title. I fucking hate it. On the line.
Trash.
Jorge Masvidal going up against Nate Diaz.
That was such an underwhelming fight.
I mean, from the jump, Masvidal was he just looked 18 times better than Diaz.
Diaz starts off slow.
And we know that, and he was cut up early. But that cut up early is the reation why this fight ended at the end of round 3.
I mean, it was I get it. I saw the pictures afterwards and the stitches he needed.
So I actually I watched a video on YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to shout him out, but I can. He's Dr. Brian Sutterer is his name.
Go ahead.
He talks about this injury, and he says, you know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, try and save his eye." It's the cut.
That's not an injury.
Anyway, try and save his eye. That's the reason why they're stopping it. No, the reason why they're stopping it is because his eyelid can fall off at any second if the cut is too deep.
But it wasn't on his eyelid.
That's what I'm saying. The skin,
it was above his eyebrow.
Yes, so the skin there, it folds down and it can come off. And so that's the main reason why he thinks, because he's a doctor as well. That's the main reason why he felt like the doctor stopped it. And as much as he's a sports fan as well, he didn't want the fight to be stopped, but he sees the reasoning why. He's trying to basically say he's saving this man's eye. And at the end of the day, I mean, I understand that you need to say that, but for the title and the name that this is supposed to be, being the baddest of all, this was not the way it should have ended.
For it to end like that, that's so underwhelming. So underwhelming. And there's some people saying that it was rigged. I think that's funny. I really think it's hilarious.
I don't think so. I mean,
because The Rock slipped up and said, when Jorge Masvidal wins.
Oh yeah, I saw
and they're
that.
like, oh, it's rigged. Conspiracy theorists. Eddie Bravo come out of somewhere, coming out of nowhere just to say it's rigged.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you watch the fight, Masvidal was all over Diaz. I mean, Masvidal, he was being the cocky one too.
That third round, he won.
Yeah, that he needed to, because
Diaz
he was
won
down
the
2.
third.
He needed to. He was down 2-0.
Yeah,
and
like
he
was just starting to pick up. That's what sucks.
The Diaz formula is get beat up early and beat up your opponent late.
Yeah,
and we didn't get to see that, unfortunately, because
I think that this fight is a good reflection of how the Yair and Jeremy Stevens fight would have went. That was a 5-round fight.
Yeah, because
Yair would start out fast like Jorge did, but Jeremy would come back the way Nate Diaz was starting to come back.
I think the bad thing about guys who get beat up early and their game plan is to beat you in those late rounds is if it's not a 5-round fight, you're pretty much screwed. I think
it's such a flawed game plan, but I mean it works for some people. It works.
Yeah, I mean, and for Diaz, he has a lot of 5-round fights, so fortunately for him, it does work,
and he's used to that. He's used to getting beat up.
And the thing is we've seen. So there was a picture of this cut versus a cut he's gotten in the past. It's always in the same spot. It's in the exact same spot every time.
Yeah.
So people think, oh, he's just cut the same. There's no problem here. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and we had to have a doctor stoppage. And Jorge Masvidal is now your BMF title holder. So
for the time being, yeah.
What is next for this BMF title holder? What is next for Diaz? What is next for Masvidal?
Masvidal, what I hope will happen is him fight Edwards. That'd be
We've been saying money fight.
Oh my lord. I just want to see them fight so bad. Like that, I'd love to see that fight happen. But for Diaz, he could get honestly, I could see a rematch get reworked. I could see that.
That's what they wanted. After the fight, they're like, we're going to run it back.
Everybody says they're going to run it back. I mean, granted, it did happen this year with Stevens and Yair, but everybody says they're going to run it back, and they end up moving on from it. I hope they do run it back. I'd like to see that. Make it another 5-round, though, and not a 3-round.
Now, really quickly, Conor did say that he's got an opponent set.
Man, that clown's not fighting. That clown's all hype. He just needs to stay relevant.
As of right now, sort of what I said last week, the top name is Donald Cerrone, and that's about it.
I'd like to see him fight Cerrone. I think Cerrone would murder him.
I just think Conor's done. I think he's washed.
I think Cerrone's done too, though, honestly.
I mean,
after that last knockout, I think he's done.
Yeah.
He fights too much during the year.
So, all in all, UFC's last pay-per-view here, 244. How'd you feel about it?
With how underwhelming that main event was, besides that, I was pretty happy with the card. Like I said, we didn't talk about Andrei Arlovski losing.
Oh, yeah.
But knockout.
Yeah.
These were knockout after knockout after knockout.
Yeah,
these
so
were
the prelims,
all great fights.
Prelims, all knockouts, first fight of the night on the main card, a knockout, and then we went to 4 straight decisions. So...
And then the doctor stoppage.
Well, that's a decision, technically, but we'll count. I'm counting that as I'm going to count that as a decision because it wasn't his decision to end this fight.
Yeah.
All right, so
I was happy with the card.
Yeah,
in the end, I was sort of happy with it. How about you?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's combat sport, it's UFC, and I love to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to a future UFC event that's coming up the end of this week. UFC Fight Night 163.
Yep, coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, so we've actually got some really nice names on here, and this is where I'm going to start butchering names. So get ready, everybody. First fight on the night is going to be Shamil Gamzatov versus Kildsin Farias de Abreu. I think I did okay there.
Not bad. Gamzatov is...
He's 13-0.
13-0.
And De Abreu is 15-3.
Gamzatov has a 1 reach advantage. He's 2 inches taller than him and 3 years older than him.
Okay. I'm siding with mostly Russians on this whole card.
That's the smart thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Literally, you don't even need to know who they are. You see a Russian, you're like, oh yeah, that's the one.
I mean, come on, this is UFC. It's in Russia, right?
Yeah.
So
And it's an early start for those of you who are watching it. The main card's gonna be at 2:00.
yeah, we should be watching that probably. We might be able to.
Maybe, yeah.
I might be able
if
to.
That's the
I'll
case,
hit you up.
we will be live streaming it. So
we'll let you know.
yeah, we'll definitely let you guys
on
know.
social
Stay
media.
posted, yes, please.
At No Cap Sports Podcast on
yeah,
Twitter.
on Twitter. And then, like I said, come to me at Zack_70.
We're working on getting
Instagram.
that Instagram set up.
Yep, I'm starting to get our Instagram set up for the podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's just roll through the rest of this card real quick, and we'll sort of give sort of a who we think's got this.
Yeah, let's do it.
So then we got Ramazan Emeev versus Anthony Rocco Martin.
I got Rocco.
I'm gonna take Emeev.
Okay.
And then in the light heavyweight division, we have Kadis Ibragimov versus Ed Herman.
Who? Young guy versus old guy.
Yep, I'm gonna take the young guy.
I'll take the young guy too.
All right, and then we got Zalim Imadeov versus Danny Roberts.
Oh, there's another young guy versus old guy, up and comer. I'll take the young guy again, Zalim.
Yep. I'm taking the Russians here.
Yeah.
All right, and then the co-main event. So this is a big one. Alexander Volkov versus Greg Hardy.
Alexander Volkov, 3rd round decision.
I'm taking Alexander Volkov knockout round 2.
You're switching it up from before.
I had a change of heart
Yeah?
because I just feel it.
Did I convince you?
No, I just feel it.
You watched that fight, didn't you? You watched that Derek Lewis fight.
I feel it.
Okay.
And then the main event. This is Zabit versus Calvin Kattar.
Zabit.
I mean, earlier we watched it. We just wanted to because we were bored. We pulled up a Zabit fight.
If you guys are ever bored, just watch him. Just watch like one of his like 20-minute fights, and you'll be like, "What? Like, how does he do this? This man's like an acrobat."
This guy, okay, so he is long and lanky, right? But he moves with such speed.
He's 6'1" and he's a featherweight. Like that's huge.
Yeah, he's so fast. He can pull off a spinning kick quicker than most guys can throw a punch,
and like be accurate with it too. That's insane.
He lands some nasty kicks in the fight we watched earlier.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
So I think we're both going Zabit here.
Zabit. Well, don't take anything away from Kelvin because he's a strong he's a monster. He's a grimy.
I'm gonna like watching this.
That's gonna be a fun fight.
I'm hoping it is because it seems like
Zabit never disappoints. He never disappoints. He's done some crazy submissions before, and he's just not a disappointing fighter to watch.
Never. So I'm excited. This is a fight night that I'm excited to watch. There's a lot of the fight nights where I'm like, maybe I'll catch the last 2. This one, I definitely probably want to watch the whole thing, take a look at these guys, see who they are, see what they're looking like.
Yeah, I got Zabit though.
Yeah, Zabit.
Zabit decision.
All right, so at the end of UFC here, we're gonna go to your fighter to watch. We're gonna kick it to Zach's corner.
Yeah,
here.
This week for our fighter to watch, talking about Peter Yan. He is currently 5-0 in the UFC. He's been in the UFC since 2018. Killing it. Young kid, 26 years old. He's very young. He has pretty big wins over John Dodson and Jimmy Rivera. He came from Absolute Championship Berkut. I don't know how to say that. I'm not gonna lie.
You're good.
But he won a title over there. He was like, all right, let's go to UFC. He's been killing it since. He has an upcoming fight on the UFC 245 card. He's actually the opening card. He's the opening fight for the main event for UFC 245. That's the Usman Covington fight, and he's fighting Uriah Faber. But this kid's really just he has a lot of decision wins, and a lot of people that turns them off of fighters. And like I said, he's one of those Russians that like to wrestle and like to get you down, but he can fight. He can stand up and throw with you all day, every day. So I mean, somebody really look out for. He's 13-1, and he's killing it. Young kid. Nice to see him doing this. But anyways, that's all for my fighter to watch this week. Really short, nice, sweet, simple, straight to the point.
So one last thing on the UFC here, we're gonna talk about medical suspensions real quick, which usually don't mean anything. Medical suspensions usually would end before the next fight anyway.
Yeah.
But really quickly, you're gonna have Nate Diaz on a full 90-day.
That's gonna get cut down.
Gregor Gillespie is, I believe, also on a 90-day.
I think that's normal. Yeah,
That's probably fine,
good.
especially
That's
after
good.
especially after
He
how long he was out.
Honestly, probably has a concussion.
Yeah. Vicente Luque, 60 days.
I think that should be longer.
Blagoy Ivanov, 60 days.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis, 30 days.
Because he's out of breath.
Stephen Thompson, 30 days.
Okay. He broke his hand.
Kelvin Gastelum, 30 days. Darren Till, 30 days.
That's all normal.
Johnny Walker, 45 days.
He got too bad, I guess.
So it's not too bad. All these guys, their medical suspensions will end before their next fight even starts.
Yeah.
Like before they even have an idea of who they're fighting, their suspensions will be done.
They have nothing to worry. These medical suspensions are for, their own good.
It's
They
for
have nothing
safety.
to worry about. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. This is going to be something that a lot of you probably wouldn't expect us to talk about here.
I'm so excited.
But I'm
for
actually
this.
really excited
I'm so
for
excited.
this. We've got boxing. But not just any boxing.
YouTuber boxing.
YouTube boxing. This week we have JJ, KSI.
Real quick, I love how Danny's shaking his head.
Danny heard us say YouTube boxing, and this man just started shaking his head.
He hears Logan Paul versus KSI.
Logan
he just shakes
Paul
his head.
versus KSI. And man, this is probably the most anticipated fight of the year anywhere.
For boxing?
For boxing. Even though,
And it's a YouTuber.
no. Now, hold on, guys. I'm not going to take anything away from Canelo last night, or 2 nights ago. UFC happened Saturday. That's when Canelo fought. Good, the real boxing, good for them.
Yeah.
But right now, YouTube boxing is in the forefront. It is the main event on DAZN.
Well, that's the only YouTuber on that card.
Okay, well, they tried to get other ones, but it just didn't. Jake Paul wanted to fight.
Eddie Hearns doesn't want him to
Eddie
fight.
Hearns doesn't want it. He doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket.
Which is smart.
There's going to be a time where you can go ahead and put Jake Paul versus anybody, whether it's, if you guys know, Anason Gibb, or if it's going to be Dylan Dennis, or if it's going to be Soulja Boy, whoever he wants. Obviously, he's going to want somebody who knows how to fight, so it won't be those guys.
Jake isn't a slouch, though.
No. And we talked about this watching it. We love the transformation that Jake and Logan have made.
In their career, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, strictly in their career, they have grown so much and become such mature individuals. It's nice to see. It's refreshing.
So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the Nightmare KSI going against the Maverick Logan Paul.
Yeah. Shout out Logang.
Logan Paul. Let's just say this real quick. Did you see the size of this man?
He looks amazing.
He
right
is
now.
jacked.
He looks so in shape and healthy.
It's crazy. So the first boxing match they had, if you guys don't know anything about it, this was a match that was in England, so it's on KSI's home territory. JJ early rounds gets beat up. Logan is destroying him. He's got huge reach advantage, his size advantage, and at this time, Logan was vegan, and he looked thin but fit.
He didn't have a lot of mass on him.
Yeah, but he looked
no
good.
definition either.
He looked good, but he looked thinner.
Yeah.
And in this first fight, that reach advantage played a huge, huge advantage for a guy that at the time had only been boxing for
3 months.
3 months. And JJ had been somebody who had already been boxing for a year.
Yeah, and also Logan Paul, he says he found his weapon of choice, that jab, a week before the fight. So he was still learning.
So with Logan, so let's go with the background here. Logan comes from a wrestling background in high school.
He's a pure athlete, though.
And he's an athlete, and he obviously had his career, YouTube and stuff like that. But he's an athlete still. He's still athletic enough to be able to do anything physical he pleases to do. This dude is, and he put his mind to it this time. So
he gave himself a full year.
Yeah, so now it's been a full year of him doing boxing training and, getting his mind right and eating meat and getting fit, and he is ginormous.
On top of that, he did the Challenger Games a little while back.
Yeah, he pulled a hamstring.
That was nasty. Oh my god.
The picture of it, I mean, the whole area was black and blue. Probably from the top of his thigh almost to his knee.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
It was a huge. And it just so happened to line up to when KSI actually signed for this fight.
I think that. So I know you're gonna.
My conspiracy theory, my little tin can hat, or my tin foil hat. Shout out to my cousin Alushi for playing this in my mind, because he's the one who said this. And he actually has me sold on this. Because it just so happens that like right after he does this with his hamstring, KSI's like, all right, let's do it. Let's fight. Let's go.
I'm not convinced that's the thing. I think it's just both teams trying to figure things out with DAZN.
So you think it was a coincidence?
I think it was a coincidence. I think no matter what happens at the Challenger Games, I think no matter what, this fight's going to happen.
Pretty fishy.
They both wanted the fight. I know you keep saying KSI didn't want Logan. KSI,
he don't want the smoke.
He wanted him. You can tell they have pure hatred for each other. And after that last fight, both want to end it this time.
If you haven't watched the press conferences, you should watch them. They're cringy, but they're funny.
Not only the press conferences, but they've also come out with videos on each of their channels and on DAZN channels, 40 days leading up to the fight. You get to see a lot of stuff. And you get to see a lot of their, training and how they're feeling and what they want to do and their mindset. And it's really good to see.
I like watching those. I like the DAZN came out with a recap of the first fight where they sit down with their coaches.
Oh yeah, I watched this last night.
And they both watch the film of the first fight. I like that a lot. I think it was very interesting. Just my personal thoughts off the top of my head about that. JJ was tried making a joke about a lot of things. He tried joking and
he was talking about how, I could have ended it. I could have done this. Look how weak my punches are. Look, I'm not even head guarding. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was bluffing the whole time. Honestly, I really don't see him being honest in what he's saying and thinking he's gonna. I mean, sure he believes it, but I think he's forcing himself to believe it.
So you said something about the trainers. So as of right now, we've got Logan Paul being trained by former heavyweight boxing champion of the world. I think it's 31 first-round knockouts in his career. Yeah. Shannon Briggs.
Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
And JJ, KSI, is being trained by Jeff Mayweather, who is Floyd Mayweather's dad.
His head coach
his head coach is Vidal, but he's being trained by the Mayweathers.
Sure.
In his camp, who, fortunately enough for him, was actually Shannon Briggs's coach before he won the title. Then he won the title, and they sort of fired the Mayweathers.
And he came over to Milton.
And actually, the next fight that Shannon Briggs had, he actually lost to a Mayweather coached opponent. So that sort of plays into the mind games that he knows what Shannon's telling Logan, and KSI is going to have all the counters. But basically what this means to me is that JJ is going to be fighting a defensive fight just like Floyd Mayweather would.
There's such a big reach disadvantage, though. I mean,
Floyd's not the biggest guy either, though.
Yeah. Huge different weight
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Yeah, so for this fight as well, JJ actually moved up in weight. He was a lot smaller last fight.
He still looks
He looks thick. He doesn't look like he's in shape.
Not at all.
Last fight, he was skinnier, and I think they say in their weight, he was about 8 to 10 kilos less, which in pounds I think is probably, like 15, 20 pounds.
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Danny, I don't know. I'm not good with metric system to.
Kilos?
Kilos to pounds, Danny. What is 8 to 10 kilos to pounds? Can you look that up for us?
We're American.
Anyway, so this fight coming into it. A little bit of background on JJ real quick. JJ is a former FIFA YouTuber. Who? All right, Danny, you got it over there. 10 kilos is 20 pounds.
That's huge.
Yeah, so
That's insane.
So that he put on 20 pounds basically for this fight to go ahead and stay within Logan's weight because Logan's just so much bigger.
He's going to be a lot slower.
Yeah. But that's why he thinks he's going to pack more power now. So that's
sure. You can pack as much power as you want if you're slower punching. Like if you're going to be throwing punches a lot slower and carrying a lot more weight, you're going to get tired quicker, and you're going to be a lot more predictable.
Now you say tired quicker. But I do want to say this. This is one thing you cannot take.
His cardio is insane.
You cannot take anything away from KSI.
His cardio is nasty.
He is probably cardio-wise, he is a legitimate athlete on cardio. Like, this man, this is going to be a 6-round fight, I think, again. So, he's going to be fine for all 6 rounds. He's not going to get tired unless, of course, this is a no head guards and 10-ounce boxing glove fight.
Which it is.
He may get knocked out.
Yeah.
And this is how I think this fight's going to end. Well, somebody's getting knocked out. So, Zach, I'm looking right deep in your eyes. I know where this is going already. Who's winning and what round?
Logan Paul, first round KO.
Wow.
They're also not in the UK.
Nope, not anymore.
So that plays a difference with judging, because judging is very biased.
Now, I don't think it's going to go down to judging. I think this is no matter what.
But I think, especially with let me include officiating too with the refs. Yeah, I think the refs are going to be a lot more biased this fight too.
So You're taking Logan Paul.
Yeah.
In the first round on a knockout.
Yeah.
As much as I want to disagree.
But you're going to agree.
I'm going to take KSI 4th round knockout.
What?
And I know.
What?
And I know I just said I want to disagree with you. I am going to disagree with you. I think this fight, if it gets past 2 rounds, it's JJ's fight to win.
I don't think so.
And I could be totally wrong here. Look, this is probably me speaking as, this is what I think just based.
The bias.
It's not bias.
The biased FIFA fan.
No, okay, yes. I used to watch FIFA videos and I've been watching KSI for years. But that doesn't take away anything. Logan is going to be physically imposing his will all over JJ in the first 2 rounds. And if JJ isn't knocked out, JJ wins this fight in the first 2 rounds. After the first 2 rounds. So,
I don't think so. I think the change in diet's going to help him. I think the change in diet, the 6 days a week training, he's going to build up that stamina.
No matter what happens, though, the fact that 2 YouTubers are main eventing a boxing event on DAZN is insane.
It helps everybody that's involved.
And there could be more in the future if this goes over well.
Yeah, and it will. And good for both parties.
Yeah, Logan, JJ, good luck to both of you.
Good for the boxing industry.
It's crazy for the boxing industry.
It's rejuvenating them.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on in boxing, and there's been a lot of loss in interest in boxing over the years.
A lot of deaths.
Yeah, so obviously both these guys want to go in there and quote unquote kill each other. Obviously, they're going to be as safe as possible at the end of the day, and if somebody,
hopefully,
I think they will.
I hope so.
I just want both these guys after the fight, no matter what, even if one of them gets a concussion. Hopefully, they'll be okay after this, and they'll be able to move past it, because the stigma does stay with you. If you lose this fight, every single thing you ever say is going to be commented on with, "Oh, you got knocked out by JJ," or "Oh, you got knocked out by Logan."
Yeah, I mean that's all people are good for on the internet. They run their mouth on the internet. Nobody's about it in real life.
For sure.
So I mean, they're at the point in their careers where they can, funnel out the haters.
All right, guys. Combat sports is over. UFC and boxing down. Man, there's a lot going on, though.
Yeah, so much.
So we're gonna move on to the football here. We're gonna start in college. Probably the biggest game of the year this week.
Oh my God, this is huge for everything.
So it's gonna be Alabama versus LSU, which, according to the college football playoff, this is number 2 LSU versus number 3 Alabama.
Yep.
According to the AP poll, it's number 1 LSU versus number 2 Alabama.
Yep.
So, huge game in the SEC. This is going to basically decide who goes to the SEC championship game on that side of the bracket.
I still think both teams will make the playoffs.
No matter what happens here, both teams should still make the playoffs.
I hope so.
So, big game. Jake Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa.
Joe Burrow.
Coming back.
His name's Joe Burrow.
That's what I said.
Don't disrespect Joe Burrow.
I said Joe Burrow.
Jake? Who?
Did I say Jake Burrow? We were just talking about Jake and Logan Paul. I don't know, man. Joe Burrow.
They're both from Ohio.
And Tua Tagovailoa. 2 Heisman favorites going at it, leading their SEC teams. How are we feeling about this one, Zach? I know what your bias is going to say.
The newest LSU fan.
And I
actually am split on this.
I am too.
This is going to be this is going to be so much fun to
LSU,
watch.
Alabama, when they're both good, is always a great game.
I think this is going to be not even a defensive battle. This is going to be a gunslinging.
This is the first time that LSU has had a quarterback that's willing to gunsling in a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And man, the most excited I am? I'm excited to watch LSU's true freshman, cornerback, go up against Jerry Jeudy.
I think that's going to show just how elite
Stingley is.
LSU's DBs are in general.
I mean, DBU.
Yeah, not Florida. It's LSU.
Some would argue Ohio State would be DBU.
Clowns. No.
Speaking of Ohio State, by the way,
yeah,
the number 1 team.
What is going on
in the college football playoff system?
What?
Ohio State Buckeyes. The Ohio State.
Was it trademarked? Yes or no?
The Ohio State. And not only that, look at number 4.
Penn State.
Penn State. Wow. You got 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams.
I mean, that's good for both of us.
So, Back to LSU, Alabama, real quick. I'm gonna take Bama just based off of the experience of the team and Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban's he's always a step ahead on something, and I think this is where he's gonna go ahead and show you that he is just a better coach than Coach O.
What do you think the score is going to be?
31-27.
Close game.
Close game. I think it's gonna be close.
Okay, I am going to go the opposite way.
Same score?
No.
Okay.
27-24.
Close.
LSU. Yeah, close though.
No matter what happens in this game, let it be known that this is probably a preview of what the national championship should be. Because these are the two best teams in the nation. I don't care what the CFP says. These are the best two teams in the nation. Tua, Burrow, Judy, Stingley. You know, the list, these guys just goes on of the great players that each team has, all of which could be drafted in the next 3 years. It's going to be insane.
For sure.
Speaking of the CFP, Ohio State being number 1.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts really quick on Chase Young and Justin Fields and this team being number 1.
Can we go over their
We don't gotta. This is Ohio State.
Let's go over their record real fast.
Ohio State.
I think this is important.
All right, go ahead.
Because going over their record right now, they've had wins against one ranked team so far. Just one.
So this is why I said no matter what happens, I think LSU or Alabama should be number 1 because these guys face Auburn. These guys face SEC talent. They face Texas A&M. Like, the list goes on teams that have been ranked.
Nobody cares about Texas A&M.
I'm going to keep naming Texas A&M as a good
Jimbo
SEC school.
is a clown.
Jimbo should come back to FSU. Hashtag we fired Willie Taggart. Let's get it, baby.
You see who wants to come there?
Yeah, Stoops.
No.
Well, both Stoops have said that they haven't been talked to yet.
Last chance you, former coach there, Jason Brown.
No. I want somebody who's proven.
I would love to see him call
Show me somebody who's proven in college. Bring Jimbo back. Give me a nice Jimbo Fisher.
You don't want to see him calling every player a slapdick?
No,
I think that'd be so funny to watch.
No.
Why not?
I don't need that.
He's a great recruiting coach.
He would get fired very quickly.
He's an amazing recruiting coach.
So was Willie Taggart. Hey, so
hold on.
One more thing about Taggart though, or the FSU job. You know who else spoke up? Lane Kiffin. No. That's a no from me, dog. Lane Kiffin needs to stay at FAU, and stay there.
This ain't it, Chief.
That ain't it,
Chief.
If FSU
wrong school.
If FSU decides they're hiring Lane Kiffin, we're taking L's.
Okay, but I just want to point out real quick. Wasn't it like a little committee that fired them? That fired Willie?
There's always a committee at the schools that decide.
I'm pretty sure they were alumni, weren't they?
Yeah, it's the alumni committee.
I like saying I'm right sometimes because, like I said, their alumni didn't give him any chances.
Willie Taggart,
no chances.
It's tough because at FSU, when you miss a bowl game, it sort of just looks like already the writing's on the wall. And this season, they just look horrible as well. And it just looks like there's no chance. And they didn't give enough time to Taggart, which I was fired Taggart since day one. You tried to convince me that Taggart is good for the team.
Still think he's a good coach.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But back to the CFP. We already gave the 1 through 4. 5 is Clemson. Clemson's undefeated, but unfortunately for them, they play in probably the weakest conference possible.
Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked amazing this year.
Nope. They play in the weakest conference. They play in a very weak conference.
He struggled against Syracuse.
At the ACC championship game is going to be Clemson going against
steamrolling
some
UNC or somebody like that.
team.
You like that word?
Yeah, I like slapdick now. I'm going to use it. They're going to win by 25 points, and they're going to finish out of the playoff because they're not playing anybody impressive.
And that's deserving.
Which sucks because this is a team that won a national championship.
Moved to a different conference.
But it's hard because that was the same thing that, remember, a few years ago, Florida State got the exact same thing when they lost to Oregon in that game in the playoff. The same thing happened. They were undefeated, and they looked very unimpressive, uninspiring in every single game. They play Oregon, blown out. The ACC, man, it's if two teams aren't good, that top team, they've got to look good, and they just don't.
Not at all.
And then 6, who we got at 6?
Georgia,
okay. So, another SEC team. If anything happens to Penn State, I think Georgia's the team that flies up.
They're a 2-loss team. Or no, I'm sorry. They're a one-loss team. I'm sorry.
They're going to be in the
Florida.
SEC championship game.
Yeah.
It's going to be them versus the winner of LSU Alabama.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they win that game, they're in.
Yeah, if they win that game, they're shooting.
If they
up
lose
to 3 or
that
4.
game, it's gonna be a tough call because that'll be their second loss.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They're 7-1, and the top 5 are all undefeated.
Yeah, so Penn State still has.
If Penn State loses to anybody,
They're out.
they're out. If they lose to
can't-
Ohio State, they're dropping to 8. I guarantee.
Which is crazy because now that we said the same thing about LSU, Alabama. If Penn State loses, though,
bias.
they're gone.
There's so
It's
much,
SEC bias.
so much bias in the NCAA, and
It's money.
gross.
There's so much money in the SEC, though.
There's money in the Big Ten too.
I know, but
Like I said,
Pennsylvania versus the whole South.
there's always going to be bias when it comes to Ohio State, Alabama, teams like that who are
The power teams, the ones that you think of when you think of college football.
not even they're very shady. They're just
I don't want to bring up shady dealings right now.
they have a past of being shady.
It's okay. Let's move on from shady business in the college football world to some shady business in the NFL. This is the shadiest thing I've seen all week.
What
Nick
do you-
Foles starting over Gardner Minshew.
Minshew mania.
Minshew. Okay, let me tell you guys this real quick. I went to a Jags game 2 weeks ago.
Oh, what game was that?
I don't want to talk about it. So, Gardner Minshew threw 3 touchdowns in that game, by the way. I don't, undisclosed opponent. I don't remember who they were going against. I don't remember anything.
They were seeing ghosts there, I heard.
No. I don't know anything you're talking about. Gardner Minshew, man. Everybody in Jacksonville, 75% of the men, their facial hair is cut to look exactly like Minshew.
With the headband?
With the headband. They're wearing American bandanas around
you see
their
any
head.
jorts?
I've seen some jorts. I didn't see any jock
Yeah.
straps, though. Nobody
That's-
came out in straight jock strap.
That's the real.
But these guys,
Southern-
I mean, Bortles jerseys. Remember, Minshew's number 15. Bortles was number 5. They're taping ones and putting a big duct tape over the name, and they're putting Minshew on there. You look at Allen Robinson jerseys. These things have been turned into Minshew jerseys.
That's so funny.
These guys love Gardner Minshew, and my fear for Nick Foles. And you're an Eagles fan, so you've seen Nick Foles up close and personal.
Yeah.
This guy won you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I feel really bad because I think he might get booed.
I think he's gonna get re-injured. That's just a hot
The Nick
take I
Foles
have.
way.
I think so. I think he's getting re-injured. I feel bad for the guy. He's a good backup.
I mean, okay, so getting $80 million up to 104 with boosts, I mean, incentives is insane for a guy that when he's been a starting quarterback in this league hasn't looked good, other than with the Eagles. The only time he's ever looked good is when he's with the Eagles.
Yeah. He fits
but,
our system so well.
But in week 1, we saw him in limited action. However, he didn't look too bad.
Not at all. He broke his clavicle on a touchdown play.
Yeah,
didn't
on a
he?
touchdown to DJ Chark.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for Minshew fans, this guy is done. He threw for about 2,300 yards, had, I think it was 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions or something like that. Good numbers for a guy that started 8 games.
Was 4-4.
Not bad for a backup quarterback, 6th round pick rookie.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, but he's going to probably get a chance somewhere else.
He had 2 game-winning drives and 2 comeback wins.
This is a guy that, if the Jags are going to stick with Foles, I could see them in the offseason asking teams for a 2nd or 3rd round pick and probably getting it.
Yeah, he's going to get shipped out somewhere. Hopefully somewhere where they'll use him in, maybe New York? Somewhere in New York?
No. Speaking of shipped out, Cam Newton.
He's on IR.
On IR and probably done in Carolina. Kyle Allen, the starter for the immediate future. I think Carolina obviously should look to the draft to pick one of the top 5 quarterbacks this year.
Why not stick with Kyle Allen?
Okay. Kyle Allen isn't winning games.
Christian McCaffrey is.
And Kyle Allen, I love the kid. I loved him at Texas A&M, and it sucked that he didn't get a chance there. Because he was in the same... He got recruited at the exact same time to Texas A&M as Kyler Murray. Both these guys played at Texas A&M, and both of them did not stick there. Kyle Allen was a career backup in college, came into the NFL as an undrafted free agent or a 7th round pick or something. And he's done very, very well.
For what his ceiling is, yeah.
Yeah, but imagine having that team with a guy like Joe Burrow or a guy like Jacob Eason or Justin Herbert. Somebody who is similarly arm talent to Cam when he came out of college. Not as mobile, not as imposing size-wise, but can vertically move the ball and get the ball to McCaffrey when needed.
I mean, that was Cam's biggest downfall, too. He wanted to run the ball more than passing
Yeah,
the ball.
so the biggest thing with Cam, which as of right now looks like this is his final season in Carolina, probably will get released because he frees up.
Yeah.
He's got non-guaranteed money next year of $19 million. It's going to free up a lot of space for the Panthers. His biggest thing is once he had that shoulder injury, his deep balls that used to go 60 yards go 30 yards. He lost a lot of arm strength. He's just captain check down.
I feel bad for him.
His body gave up on him.
Yeah, you see...
It's the style of quarterback he is, though.
He likes to put his head down and run, and...
He wants to run you over.
Yeah, he wants to be flashy.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, his body quit.
Costed him his career.
And there's a lot of speculation on where he might go. I've heard Bears because of Trubisky.
Ooh.
Maybe Vikings if they don't want to bring Kirk back.
Kirk is doing surprisingly well. He's being quiet.
The teams with quarterbacks that are young, older. There's a lot of names that are out there. I'm sticking with Bears, but other than that, his career's over. I don't think he goes anywhere after this.
Mitch Trubisky's been very underwhelming this
Horrible.
year. Horrible. And I remember even before this year started, when we'd sit down and we'd talk about this stuff, I was pretty high on Mitch.
I was opposite. I hated Mitch.
You said he fits the system.
I think he's a system guy who has to play in a system, and this year he's played worse.
Yeah.
He looks like not a college quarterback, or not an NFL quarterback. He looks like
He also got no development.
I mean, they hired a coach to try and do that.
And they threw him right in there. And he did good. He didn't do bad last year. We watched this film, and from what you saw, you said he did decent.
I never thought Mitch was worth a top 5 pick, top 10 pick in the draft, especially in a draft that had Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, who, regardless of what anybody wants to say, I was really high on Mahomes at Texas Tech, and I was really high on Watson out of Clemson. And the fact that the Bears had to trade up a spot to pick Mitchell at 2
and not pick either of those guys,
and not just stay at 3 and pick the other guys, it was a telling sign.
Yeah.
So one last thing with the
Bad
NFL
front
this
office.
week. One last thing with the NFL this week. The Ravens
Yeah.
shocked me over the Pats.
I was pretty scared about this game because on fantasy I have Lamar and I also have New England's defense. So I was
How did you do that?
It worked.
It did.
It worked.
They
I
somehow
ended
got
up winning
the points.
this week.
Yeah, they ended up somehow got the points.
So New England got me 4 points.
Which is like an average defense these days.
But like that blows my mind because Lamar put up 37 points against them and they still managed to get 4 points. And I'm like, thank God.
So, I mean, how impressive do the Ravens look for as little credit as I want to give them? They look really good.
They don't look bad at all, yeah. They have a complete team going on there.
I mean, I said this yesterday. If the Patriots go against the Ravens again in the playoffs, the Patriots will win that game.
More than likely, they'll win that game.
They will shut Lamar down. But this is the first time they faced Lamar this season.
I feel like there's always that one team that does that with New England.
The Pats are very, very famous for having just one team come in there and just beat them.
Yeah.
And this was the one. And it'll probably be the last one of the season. I think they're going to finish 15-1.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were going to go undefeated.
That's a hot take there.
Not really.
I mean, let's look at their schedule real fast.
Quickly pull it up if you can.
I got you.
Because they got to play. I'm pretty sure they play the Dolphins again.
Yeah, that's an automatic win.
I mean, they're going to play a lot of dog trash. I've said a lot of bad language on this, and I use dog trash there.
Yeah, you've been letting it no cap.
Go ahead,
really
no
letting
cap.
it go. So they play the Eagles.
W.
I'm not disagreeing. Yeah. Dallas.
W.
At Houston.
W.
KC.
I think a W still.
Really?
Because I have KC beating them in the playoffs.
What?
Yep. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. At Cincy, that's a
W.
They don't have it determined yet against Buffalo.
It's a W. I know Buffalo played them hard, but I think at the end of the season, this Buffalo team's probably going to be coasting because they're probably going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll have a comfortable spot.
Yeah.
And then finish the season off Miami.
W.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 15-1 there. No matter what, though, it's the Patriots, and they're probably going to win the Super Bowl.
I say, I don't think 15-1. I think 13-3.
Okay, I respect it.
Because I can see them losing to Kansas City, and I'll take Houston.
Okay, I respect it.
I also have Houston. I'm pretty high on Houston.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I just like their offense a lot.
All right. So, for football, that's pretty much it for this week.
Yeah, this is a good week of football.
So I'm gonna end it here. With just a few more minutes here, guys. Stay with me. We're gonna do Chris's Corner on basketball. We're gonna do a little quick talk on Golden State, the dynasty that has fallen. What has happened to Golden State?
I'm not even a basketball fan that much, but like I'm just seeing everybody bashing them and just like really ridiculing. They're like the Jets of.
Okay, whoa, calm down.
They're like the
Golden
Jets
State
of basketball.
Golden State, the last few games last season in the finals, they lose Kevin Durant early in the second round. He then comes back, tears his Achilles, and he's done, and he's out. Klay Thompson in the game deciding for the series, he goes up for a dunk, he dunks it, and he gets sort of undercut and tears his ACL. Fast forward to this season. Okay, new hope, Draymond and Steph and D. Russ. Hey, they might be able to win some games. You know, early on, D. Russ is injured already. Steph broke his hand. He's out 3 months. Draymond, he's out right now. They're running a lineup out there of guys that nobody's ever heard of. Steve Kerr has to put up a coaching masterclass. And I'm going to give him credit. A lot of people like to downplay Steve Kerr. This is a guy that, although he's been given super teams basically since he's been in the league, right now he is coaching college basketball players and G League players that wouldn't be on any other team. And I think they have 2 or 3 wins already. For the fact that this team is on a downfall right now, that I don't know when they're going to end. This is a free fall. This team could probably win 20 games this season, and they're going to keep their pick. You have to remember, they traded that pick to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant for D'Angelo Russell. It was only top 20 protected. So the fact that they might end with a top 5 pick, be able to pick themselves a center, or pick themselves a small forward of the future, be able to ship D'Angelo Russell off to wherever he has to go, and roll a lineup next year of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, a draft pick, Draymond Green, this team might be back next season. But right now, they're a dumpster fire. But this dumpster fire is not going down without a fight. And as much as I've hated Golden State in the past, I am starting to feel bad for them. And I really wish Steve Kerr the best of luck, because he's going to need it this season. The team is garbage. You don't have Steph for 3 months. Draymond's probably going to be hurt over and over again, being overworked, overused, and he's overpaid. He's not that good. He might be Defensive Player of the Year level, but he's just not that good. This team's going to be rough. The season's going to be rough. But Golden State fans, listen here. If you're listening to this, you will be back next season, and you will be back with a vengeance. All right, guys. So that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed what we talked about tonight. Zach, how do you feel about this?
About
everything.
I like it.
You feel good?
I'm having fun with this, guys. This is something that I enjoy. And this I'm going to probably overwhelm myself with this, but I love it. This is something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming to me with the idea to do this.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening and actually giving me the opportunity. I also appreciate our producer, Danny, giving us the opportunity to actually make this dream come true. I know we're only 3 episodes in, but this is still huge to me. And
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Danny, can I say anything on the mic right now?
Yeah.
We just made a partnership, official.
Yeah.
With Danny. We're signing a contract.
Yeah.
To be produced and everything through Danny. So we want to thank him for that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danny. I really appreciate it.
This episode is actually going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, anywhere that you can download podcasts. We're going to be there from now on,
Catch us on
guys.
YouTube still, guys.
And the first 2 episodes will also be up there as well. Those are on YouTube right now. We're still going to try and keep that YouTube active. We want you guys, if you're listening to this on YouTube, to like, share, subscribe.
Hit that notification bell.
And leave a comment down below. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know what you want to hear.
If you want to tell us, like, oh, Zach sounds stupid or Chris sounds like a dork, Go ahead.
I know I sound like a dork.
I mean, I know I'm stupid, but that's okay. I want to hear this.
And then
any feedback's good feedback.
Wherever you guys, if you guys can, please download the podcast. We want to know that you guys are listening. We want to get some engagement with you guys on Twitter at No Cap Sports Podcast. Anything else, Zach?
No, like I said, just thank you guys so much for support. You know, thanks for everybody giving us feedback. We're just gonna keep grinding. We're gonna make something out of this. Mark my words.
All right, guys.
We're going to make this something.
We appreciate you guys giving us a listen this week. We'll be back next week with another banging episode. I want to thank Danny for making it official with us this week. And with that being said, I'm going to bid you guys adieu.
Have a good night, y'all.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Peace.